In this lesson, Shrisha and Langchen are going to help me demonstrate the beating of the blade, why we would want to do it, and the advantages associated with this action. But before we start with that, I just want to clarify, beating the blade is not a wasted action. Generally speaking, at a beginner level, we're taught attack the target, not the blade. It's a lost opportunity, so all that energy focused on the blade is something you could use instead of attacking the target. In this case, though, we are going to be looking at beating the blade as a disruptive action, and we're going to be looking at two examples of that. The first one, being disruptive, is if we're being counter-attacked, or the person has very good timing, very good preparation and point control. So if they're locked in against us and we're moving into attack, if we just extend, they're going to hit us. They've been consistent in the entire bout doing it, so we don't want that to continue. What can we do? We can beat their blade. We can be disruptive, we can damage their timing, we can frustrate their point control, and this way when we do decide to attack, it's not going to be as dangerous for us. So that's the first one. Second one that we're going to be looking at is a way of provoking. So it's still disruptive, but we want to elicit a response from our opponent. So if we're just there and they're not doing anything, they're very passive, they're waiting for us, and maybe there's a point deficit, you want to make sure that you can elicit some response from them. What you can do is you can just be belligerent against their blade. Beat, beat, beat. And if they're not entirely wise to why you're doing this, they might be responsive to it. They see, oh, they're wasting their time, they're attacking my blade, I'm just going to attack them. So being aware of this, you're simply attacking the blade. You're being disruptive, all the while preparing your response. So you know I'm going to beat and extend against you as soon as you try to hit me. So it's essentially a trap. These are the two that we're going to be looking at. So for our first demonstration, we're looking at disruption as a means of breaking your opponent's timing and point control. In this case, Langchen is going to be trying to make an attack against me. I'm going to be the one with the timing and point control, so he has to be disruptive against that. And before he makes his hit, he needs to make sure I don't have that control. So he's going to be playing with my blade. But first, let me show you where. If Langchen stands on guard for us, and he's in a defensive position, where do you want to beat that blade? Where are you going to have the most impact? Well, against the foible. You don't want to be smacking around the fork because two reasons. One, it's really strong, so it's not going to move too much. And two, you're way too close, so he's just going to extend the hit. So you want to play with the foible. So we're both on guard, and we're just attacking that blade. So if we're on guard, you're hitting the blade, you're trying to be as disruptive as possible. Once you feel confident they can't hit you, then you can extend. But as you saw, I started getting a little obsessive, so I'm swinging all around this blade. This is not a good way of trying to attack the blade, beating it, because now you're caught up in trying to find it. They're just going to extend and hit you because you haven't been disruptive. So make sure that it is successful against the blade. So we're going to stand on guard. Masks on. Langchen's going to take one step back. And this is our distance, so we're going to just be moving around a little bit. And he's going to be attacking me. So he needs to be in distance. He's going to be playing off of my blade. And before I can hit it, he's going to attack. Now in this case, you can see he did find my blade. He was disruptive, but there were two touches. So this would be a double. Reason why it wasn't as effective as he wanted it to be is because he beat the blade stepping in, then he stepped back, and then he attacked. So he's resetting. You want to make sure that when you play off of the blade, you're still moving forward. You don't want to do this, step back, and then go. Because if you're giving yourself a chance to reset, you're giving your opponent a chance to reset. So we'll do that one more time, and you're going to see how effective it is when Langchen does not step back to reset. So again, one step back. We're both on guard, we're kind of moving around. He's going to play off of my blade, and as soon as he hits my blade, he's going to try to attack. Now what happened here? Again, another example. If you're too aggressive with your blade movement, you compromise your own point control. And that's what you saw when Langchen initiated the attack. He does this big beat, and he attacks, and his point is all the way out. It's not on target. So you want to make sure you keep that point control. So as a quick demonstration, he puts his mask back on. And if I beat his blade, there's the touch. I'm not going to lose my point control. So we'll see him apply this. He'll take one step back. We'll do it one more time. He's going to beat the blade, and he's not going to change his point control. So there's the touch. It hits me on the arm. Now again, You want to be aware of how your blade is moving. If you're just moving the blade and you're not aware of how it's changing your point control, it can be very risky. If you're doing this, you have no point control. Point is traveling side to side, you have no idea where you're going to hit. This isn't even very good in foil. So instead, you want to be very deliberate in your action. Bam, bam. You can see when I'm making that attack, I'm still keeping my point on target. I'm not pulling it to the side. I don't need to. It's not a parry. I'm attacking. So again, when you're trying to be belligerent and disruptive, keep your point still on. So there's the hit. There's the extension. Very simple, but it is difficult, as you can see. If you get a little too carried away with it, too fixated, it can lead to some trouble. For our last example, we are going to be looking at provoking a response from our opponent when they're fencing. So in this case, I'm going to be trying to provoke Shirisha to attack me. She's going to have a very strong guard. She's going to be very passive. She's leading in the point, so she doesn't have much of a reason to push the attack. She wants me to risk it instead. So what's going to happen is she's going to be just staying there. I'm going to be beating her blade, and I'm going to try and sell to her the idea that I'm making a mistake. To her, it's going to be a response, oh, he's wasting his energy, he's attacking my blade. Next time he does that, I'm just going to extend it. Hit him, I'll get an easy point. But that's the trap. So while I'm beating the blade, I have a contingency plan. I'm waiting for that response so I can just extend against. I'm trying to draw her to attack me when she's not necessarily as ready as she thinks she is, because I've already built up all that preparation. So we're going to stand on guard, and we're going to have a little bit of separation, and I'm going to be moving around, she's moving around, she's being nice and passive. I'm going to play with the blade, and you can see I'm not taking a very generous step forward, I'm just going to respond and try to see what she's going to do. And when she attacks me, I can just hit her. So she's not ready, I can catch her. Now that wasn't the best demonstration because I'm hitting pretty far in. I'm hitting her right here on the center of the target. Maybe I want to try for the arm. So we'll do that again. And again, we have some nice separation. This time I'm going to be a little bit more in control. And I'm waiting for that response. She's going to attack, and there's the touch. So she's falling short because I'm hitting her before she's finished. So that's the important thing. Takes some setup, a lot of preparation. So playing off of the blade, being disruptive, you can do it to break their timing and point control, and of course you can do it to create a situation where they decide to attack you. So again, it's kind of like a bait and switch. It is still setting a trap.